Hello, Thorny Roses, and welcome. I'm going to talk you through a nice mobility sequence here that you can do at the end of the day when you need to relax before you go to bed, or even as a way of easing yourself into your day in the morning, or just when you get a chance. It's a really good one to do. So start off with lying on the floor, onto your back, and just take a moment to relax here. Just this position of having your knees bent and your back flat on the floor and not having to stay upright against gravity, just this can be really, really beneficial. So you're going to take your feet wider apart than shoulder distance. And you're going to drop your knees one side and then the other. And you can either keep your head in the center, or if it's nice, you can turn it in the opposite direction to your knees. But it's quite stretch through the spine. And some people find that a little bit intense to start with. And with the knees so wide, it gives room for your knees to drop down in between, like so. So do as many of these as you like. You should feel the stretch through the hip flexors, and you're slightly engaging your core to drop your knees down so they don't just flump under gravity. And you're slightly engaging your core to bring your knees back up. Okay, good. And then bring your feet back to sort of more hip, shoulder width apart. And we're going to do the shoulder bridge. Okay. Think about leading with the pubic bone, and you're bringing your spine up vertebra by vertebra. So think about your knees going towards the wall, so away from you, and then lowering back down one by one, pushing your lower back down into the ground, leading with the pubic bone, coming up vertebra by vertebra, and try and find a place that's comfortable on your shoulders. So you're kind of bridging on your shoulders, not on your neck, and where you don't feel like your body is kind of scrunching down into your throat. Think about your knees going away from you, having this length, okay? And then slowly, vertebra by vertebra, one by one, you're lowering back down. And then when you get to the ground, you can even hyper tilt a little bit, like actually have a hollow in your back. So there's a gap between your back and the floor, which we never want to do when your back is under load. But in this case, it isn't. So actually, it's just about going through the full range of motion. And then reverse, tuck down, lead with the pubic bone. And slowly back down. It should feel really nice. It should feel like a great range of motion through your body. And then on this next one, if it feels good, as you go up through the pubic bone into the bridge, you could bring both arms up and over your head. And then bring them back down as you lower back down. Again. And lower back down. It feels nice to you. You can even do this where you bring your hands up overhead as you come up into the bridge, and then leave them there as you lower back down. And that puts really quite an effective stretch through the spine. Okay, good. Right. Another nice mobility exercise. Same position, lying on your back, knees bent, and then just have your arms facing up towards the ceiling, and you're just going to reach with one arm, lower back down, reach with the other arm, lower back down. You're not trying to move any part of your body other than that sort of shoulder segment. It's really good for shoulder mobility. Great. The next exercise is hip circles. So you're picking your knees up so your knees are above your hips, hands on your knees, and big wide circles with your knees going away from each other. So as far out to the side as you reasonably comfortably can, as close to your chest as you reasonably comfortably can, and as far away from you as your arms allow. Big circles that you're moving on knees. Thighs are kind of rotating through the hip socket. And then change direction. And then when you're ready, you can move them both in the same direction. And really massaging the sides to the back. And then the other direction. And before you put your feet down, just going to rotate the ankles slowly outward, inward, both to the right, both to the left, and backwards and forwards. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you can hear mine. Very loud. Really good for the ankles to just get through that full range of motion. In this case, not underweight, not bearing weight as well. This isn't a core exercise because we're just sliding opposite arm and leg. Opposite arm and leg stretching out. Stretch out through your toes. Stretch out through your fingers. Try and do it in a kind of fluent motion. Breathing as you go. Just noticing if one arm reaches more easily to the ground than the other. In my case, my right shoulder is just unfrozen. So it's had a very limited range of motion for a while. And so it's not going down to the floor like the other one is. It will in time. That's part of the point of these exercises, is to feel what's working and what's not, what's symmetrical. You can stretch through your heel if you prefer, and stretching through your toe. Just take full advantage of the range of the motion, range of the movement. And finally, another really nice exercise to do when you're lying down is just some head rotations. And you can just kind of experiment a little bit with what feels good, because your head is not under any load here. So maybe it feels nice to go from side to side in a kind of crescent, or tucking your chin to your chest, or holding it slightly with your arms. But it's nice just to move it around a little bit without the weight on it. And spend as long as you like going through these exercises. These very much listen to your body and do what feels good, and do as much as you need. You don't have to do all of them. You might find that there's a couple that you really like to do more thoroughly. A lot of people find this exercise to be beneficial for the hip flexors and piriformis. So you're crossing your ankle over the opposite knee, reaching in between the gap, and just pulling that thigh a little closer to your body. I can really feel it down there. breathing into it as you hold. Sometimes people's arms are a little bit shorter and they don't find it quite so easy to have the head back down. So sometimes people do more this. This is also fine. And then you're swapping sides. Doing the other side. And we did the knee drops with the feet really wide. You can also do them with the feet closer together and the arms out to the side. And then maybe with a twist going through the body. And it just puts the stretch down a different part of your back, side back. Again, it's not a huge core exercise, but you are just engaging your core to make the movement smooth. Again, do that for as many times as it feels good. Good. All right. Now all you have to do is get up. Well done, Thorny Roses. You're doing brilliantly. Showing up for yourself every day, as often as you can, makes all the difference. And if you found that you haven't managed to show up quite every day, don't beat yourself up about it. Just keep trying. Keep on keeping on. That's what we need to do. All right. Thank you. Goodbye.